Hi and welcome to today's The Trading Golfer video. And in today's double length extra special video, I'm going to talk about yardages and distances. And the reason why this is double length is because I want to cover various different aspects of how you can nail down your yardages and distances and help your handicap come tumbling down. And at the very end of this clip, I'm going to give you a checklist of 3 things that you need to help you achieve that. And the 3 things that I've used to help my handicap come down from high 20s down to where it is now at this current day, and where it's going to go in the future, because these things are going to be helping me not just in the past, but they're going to be helping me moving forward. So stay tuned for that. So the first thing we need to be aware of is when we are standing over our ball and we've got our second or third shot to the green, how far that is. Because we know we've got different amounts of clubs in our bag to do different things. We have the longer irons for longer shots. We have the shorter irons for shorter shots. We have our putter for putting. We have different clubs for different jobs. And the yardage and the distance that you need to go from where you're at to where you want to be is a big bearing on that. Now, the good news is that a lot of golf clubs tell you how far you have to go with various different means that they have at their disposal. So, for example, you've played your tee shot on a par 4 and you're standing over your second shot and you're looking at your green and you're saying to yourself, how far is that? Now, if you look around, some golf courses will have yardage discs on the fairway, which will mark the distance to either the front or the center of the green you're approaching. Sometimes it's the back of the green, but more often than not, it's the front or the center of the green. So they're little discs, round discs or posts marked in the center of the fairway that show you the number, how far it is in yards or in meters in Europe, how far it is to the middle or the front of the green you're approaching. Now, this could also be posts or stakes in the side of the fairway. So wherever you play, just ask in the pro shop, are there any yardage posts out there? You can also buy a yardage book. So each hole has its own layout on the book, and you can see various different areas. So you know, if you look at the hole you're playing, there's a bunker on the right, and you're in line with that bunker. It will tell you how far you've got to the front and the middle of the green, and it will show you in yards or meters depending where you're at. So that's good. But what that doesn't do is it doesn't drill down how far it is to the flag. It's only to the front or the middle of the green. Now, why can it not give you an accurate position to the flag? Is very simple, because flag positions change and can change daily, but more often than not change every few days or every week. A club will change its pin position, and it will maybe at the front of the green, the middle of the green, behind a bunker. If you're playing in a tournament, one day the flag might be on the right of the green, another day it might be on the left of the green. We went to the BMW PGA Championship recently at Wentworth, and on the second day, which was the Saturday, because obviously of what happened in the world, but the second day was the Saturday, the pin on the 18th green was on the right-hand side. On the third and final round, on the Sunday, the pin was over to the left, tucked behind the tight to the ditch that goes in front of the 18th green. So making the approach shot different. So knowing where the pin position is important. Some clubs colour the flags differently. So red might be at the front, yellow might be in the middle, and white flag will be at the back. So you get a good idea. So if it says on the disc 250 yards to the middle of the green and it's a yellow flag, you know it's within 10-15 yards of being 250 yards to that flag. Now, what you need to really do is you really need to know an accurate distance to those pins, because it can be the difference between 1 and 2 clubs out. So let's say, for example, you've got to your ball and you can see you're 5 paces away from the 150-yard marker to the centre of the green. And you know that that's going to give you a shot to the pin of about 160. So you hit a club and you come short. And when you get up there, the pin was actually been placed with the wrong colour flag on it. So the greenkeeper put the wrong flag on it. Now this happened at our club. We had a guest greenkeeper for a few days from another club to cover sickness, and he put the coloured flags on the greens in the wrong position because at their club they had the red flags at the back and the yellow flags at the front. Now you can guess what happened there. It was causing so much confusion where players were actually coming up short and going long and getting the wrong club. So knowing the correct yardage to your flag is important. So you need to buy a device. A device is very simple. Either something you wear on your wrist called a watch that gives you a good accurate yardage to the centre of the green, to the back of the green, to the front of the green. But what's going to give you more accuracy is those rangefinders, where you can actually look through an eyeglass on a rangefinder and literally it locks onto the flag and it tells you the yardage from where you're at to the flag. Now there are lots of different rangefinders out there. Some measure the slope, whether it's downhill or uphill. Some even do wind. I don't know how they do the wind, but some will actually give you an idea of the wind circulation. But once you know by looking through a rangefinder or on a watch that you've got 146 yards to that pin, whereas it could have been 154, that's an 8-yard difference. That's 1 club difference. That's the difference between getting it close and going through the back or staying short. Once you know the exact number to the flag, you can then know how far you've got to go exactly. So that's the first piece of information you need and a way of getting it, pretty much dialed in. The second thing is, once you know that information, what club are you going to hit? Now, if you don't know the yardages and don't know the distances you hit your clubs, then that's a real sort of disadvantage to you. Like it is if you don't know the distance to the flag. And I still play with people that don't have rangefinders or watches, and they just look at it and go, well, that's around about 130 yards, or it looks to me it's like an 8-iron. I'm going to hit an 8-iron, and they come invariably short or go off to the right or go to the left, and just don't get anywhere near the pin, and then wonder why they're actually taking 6s and 7s when they should be taking 4s and 5s. So, knowing how far you hit your clubs is important. So, what I would suggest, and what I did, was I went to a driving range with the TrackMan or Top Tracer type setup. This is the setup that whenever you hit a ball on the range, it will measure how far you've carried it, how far you've hit the distance in total, your ball speed, your launch speed, and how far offline you are. Not so much worried about being offline now, we're just talking distances. And once you've done that for each club, some of them you can actually enter the club on the computer, 7-iron, and then hit ball after ball after ball, and it will measure the distance of each one. Take an average. Don't take the highest or lowest, because the highest might be a bang-on centre of a hit, a flush hit, and the lowest might be a complete, where you've duffed it completely. So take an average of, a good 10, 12, 15 shots with each club, so you get an idea of your average carry and average distance for each club. That's so important. It's so beneficial because standing over your second shot now, that you've got 143 yards to the pin. So you want to be carrying it because the wind conditions and the soft ground is going to allow you to maybe land it 130 and let it run up the 13 yards towards the pin. That you're going to take a club that hits and carries 130 yards. That is so important. That is so powerful. Having that information at your disposal, and all you've got to take into account is wind. Pick a bit of grass up, throw it. Which way is the wind blowing? That just sorts out the direction, and it can allow you to take a club off or add a club if it's with or against the wind. Now, how strong do you feel? You feel in control. You feel controlled that you've got the right tool in your hand to get your ball up there to the pin, and that makes you a confident golfer. That makes you someone who's more confident because you can hit the ball with confidence that you've got the right club in your hand. Think back to when you've played a shot and you think, oh, I'm not sure if I've got the right club here, and you're very tentative and you invariably duff it because you're not committing to the shot, because you haven't got certainty that you've got the right club in your bag, and the right club in your hand is so important. You might not have even the right club in the bag to do that, so making sure you've got the right tools for the job. On a subsequent video we covered that. But at that precise moment, having the right club in your hand to do the job, and you can do it with conviction. If you fail, but you've gone with conviction and you've gone through with the right club, but it doesn't quite come off correctly, it's part of the game. It's part of learning. But if you've got the wrong club, the wrong setup, and you don't know the yardage and you come up short, you've only got yourself to blame, and your handicap won't then come down. So the third and final thing I want to cover with you is have a note of those distances. So you should know how far you carry an 8-iron on average, how far you carry a 7-iron and a 6-iron. So if you've got to go over water and the green's right behind water, make sure you take a club with also the wind conditions and any slope conditions. That's going to give you the ability to get over. If you've got to carry a 100 to 108 yard flag, it's no point taking a club that you only always averagely carry 95, because you're going to end up in the water. Take something that's going to give you an ability to get over, and maybe take it behind the pin, because if you can look through a rangefinder and see that it's an uphill putt behind the pin, you're putting uphill, which is much better than putting downhill. All of these things are so key. So here's the checklist for you, the 3-part checklist, which I promised I'd give you. The first, number 1, is know how far you've got to go to the pin and where your target is, the distance you need to carry it. The second is know how far your carry distance and your full distance on average is for each club in your bag. And the third is, once you know that information, have it written down. Don't rely on memory, because if you're standing there over your shot and you've got all these other things to think about, oh, what club do I hit 120? What club do I hit 130? Oh, what club was it? Have a written note on your bag, or write it on your club, a little label, 130. It's not breaking golf rules. You're allowed to do it, and you can have a complete, solid, confident position you are in, because you know how far you've got to go, you know you've got the right tool in your bag, and you know with confidence you can swing with conviction and through the ball. And believe me, you try doing that for a few rounds and you're going to feel so much more confident. Believe me, you are. So I hope that's really been of help. It was helpful to me, and it's been helpful to others as well, because where I've shared that information with, when I've played with them and helped them. It really frustrates me when I see people just using eyes and just thinking what their feel is for that. Use the tools that we have around us. It really does help you. And I hope this has been of help to you. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please click the bell notification underneath. It will advise you and inform you when we release new material, and we've got lots more material to come. Please like the video if you do, and please put comments, and please send me the feedback, and please, if you want me to cover anything specific like I did with water hazards before, please send me an email. You'll know how to get in touch with me via my subscription page, and then we can start to cover stuff that's really topical for you guys out there. But again, thanks for watching. Good golfing. Hope the weekend ahead is good for everyone, and take care and speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye for now.